Hi everyone, welcome back to Window Chats with Robyn, the Instagram Live podcast where I sit by my window and chat with very interesting people. Today we have a cute couple. It is Julia Borsellino and Sean Colby. Very excited to chat with them. And if you are not able to catch this live, no worries. It is available afterwards on IGTV, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. So be sure to catch it. Inviting Sean in. Here we go. Hoping it works. And okay, be cool. Let Instagram do its thing, and then the chat will commence. Sidebar.
Hey.
It worked. Hi.
Sorry, they're doing fire alarm tests in our condo. That just started now, but it might be per floor, so I don't think it's the whole building, so it might be good. If anything, we can just go onto our patio. They do this like month, and we always forget when they're happening, but it seems to be good. The fire marshal stopped speaking. So. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? That's so funny.
Good.
Yeah, we're good.
It won't last long if it does go off.
It'll just be like a tiny beep, if anything.
There's construction going on above. We're just going to work through the noises. It gives it a little extra je ne sais quoi.
Right? You just have to shout over the alarm, and then you'll hear us. Wait, it's usually 2 seconds, and then it's... There we go.
Good, it's done.
You should be good. You have construction over you?
Yeah, so we'll find out if these work or not. So are they truly noise canceling? We find out today. Get excited. Okay.
This is what you have to live with when you don't have a house in Toronto and you live in multi-unit buildings, and it happens during self-tapes. I don't know if you experience this too. You're doing a self-tape and all of a sudden, so I don't know, someone's cleaning the carpet in the building, which is nice. I want that to happen, but it's like, no, not while I'm trying to do this live Zoom audition.
Oh, that's the worst. Even if it's, when you finally get a good take and then there's that random ambulance that goes right at the end and you go, oh, can I edit it? I don't know. Okay.
There's so...
There's 4 people in this live. Okay.
Oh, the test is complete.
It's done now.
It was just that 2 seconds, and now they're done.
Okay, we're ready to go. We didn't start yet. Okay, now we're starting.
I like to think we promoted fire safety. So get your fire alarms checked, people. This is important, and this is a PSA. Cool. Julia, you should have done a voiceover for this.
Oh my God, I wish. Thank you for listening to my VO demo. So kind of you. I did that when I first got to Toronto 2 years ago with someone I went to theater school with, and she is like a bomb voiceover artist, and she made me sound so great, but I haven't booked any commercials yet. So I need to work on my voiceover game.
It's all good. I think it was great, and I was very impressed with that. Between that, and then I watched Sean and your on-camera demo reel, which was, okay, I got a lot of questions and comments, but the scene you two did together, did you write that scene? Did you guys have okay.
That's from a TV show that was shot in Montreal.
It's called 19-2. Yeah. It's not on anymore, but we're from Montreal originally, and there's basically 1-2 English casting directors in Montreal, and so one of them, they know us very well, and they pushed us forward as a couple. I think we both auditioned. I'm not sure. I think it was that. They pushed us forward as a couple, and it just so happened that we got chosen as a couple to be on set. That was my first time on set ever, and luckily he was there because I had no idea what I was doing, but that was really fun.
I really wish you would have gone full method, Julia, for that, and have the keys truly stuck inside of you. That would have been a choice, in my opinion.
Well, the best part about that scene is that all of the scenes from the show, it's a cop show, it's all apparently based on real 911 calls or real cop situations. And I'm like, did this really happen? Or is it someone that's just trying to, manipulate their boyfriend? That was the big question. But I always find that interesting that maybe somebody actually did shove their keys up there with JJ.
Yeah. No, that's me.
So censorship on Instagram?
This will be explicit. Cool, now we can swear. That's
not that vagina, but swear word.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a body part. This is anatomical. We are scientists now, actors, done. and scene. Okay. But I know I love that you guys were acting together, because I throw my husband in anything I do, and someone actually thought he was an actor, and I thought, oh no, he's just my poor husband that I had no other scene partner during the pandemic, and he was in everything. And I thought how nice it must be for you two to work together. Or I don't know, how do you guys feel working together? Is it more pressure? Is it like do you up your game more, or do you kind of yeah?
No, I feel like it's easier because we know each other so well, and also like
we're very used to it.
Yeah, we also and you think about like self tapes. We always have a reader. We always are working on our self tapes together, right? So I don't know. I guess we're so used to working together. And
yeah, and like we met. So we've been dating for like I guess almost 11 years now. We met in theater school. And so we did 3 years of theater school together, and like we started dating like the first year of theater school, and even in theater school, like we played like in Julius Caesar, he was Brutus, I was Portia, like in something else. Well, we were always kind of paired up, not all the time, but I think sometimes our teachers use that, you know, in our performances to pair us up because you just have a natural chemistry. So we're very used to, I guess, working together also on self-tapes, and also we worked on short films together. Sean produced a few short films that I was in. I don't know. I like working with Sean. It's fun working with Sean. I'm happy we can work together because we want to, you know, in the future, like hopefully we can make a feature together, a low budget feature. And I think that's in the cards for us. So it's great that we get along professionally and personally.
And also during the pandemic, at least at the beginning more, a lot of casting directors, especially when they were looking for parts that were coupled parts, I guess, they wanted real couples because they didn't want to go through the hassle, I guess,
or I guess it was too dangerous. But at the height of the pandemic, when people weren't standing next to each other while shooting, they were like looking for real couples for certain roles. So we got to audition a lot together, which was fun. Yeah.
Which can be awkward though when you're doing self tapes together, because you know how it's kind of like theater because you kind of have to stay open to the camera. Because they'd want you to do the scene together in the self tape. Yeah. But you can't just like close off completely, so it's kind of that awkward like 45 angle thing where you're just
classic 45.
I will say though, once there was a certain point in my life where I was like, can I not book something without Sean being on set too? Because it's like everything I was booking in Montreal, it was like Sean also on set, maybe not working directly with me, but he was like on set too. And I was like, am I cursed? Like, does Sean have to be there? But I'm happy to announce that Sean does not have to be on set every time I go on set. So there's hope.
There's hope. That's how you know you're officially an actor, when you don't have to act with Sean anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have to. If I do, it's by choice. We're in a great position now.
Well, I mean, being unbiased, I think it must be nice that both of you are talented, because I feel like it would be awkward if one person in the couple was untalented but still wanted to pursue a dream. I think that would just be a weird dynamic. So I equally watch both your demos. I understand what you all bring to the scene, and I very much enjoyed them.
Thank you. Thank you. And thanks for finding that old John's website. I was like, when you messaged me, I'm like, I just searched Google like in the past few weeks trying to scrub things. I was like, where did you find it? And of course on Sean's website. But we just updated those, so now the new ones are up there too.
Well, I go on Sean's website, and Sean, I have to give you credit. You value yourself and your time. I saw the price of your demo reels. I'm like, whoa, my goodness. But then I saw the quality and I understood. But
the demo edits or the demo, because I do both, right?
The demo shooting. Oh, the edits I understood. Yeah. But the shooting. But then I saw the things that you shot and I go, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But still, sticker shock.
I'm basically shooting a short film, right?
Exactly.
I bring cinematographers, I do all the editing, we find locations, it becomes like a low budget short film, and so
it actually, like, it sounds like it's expensive, but then when you actually calculate like everybody that you have to pay off in order to pull it off, like it's not at all. And then we talk about this all the time, how like a lot of actors, they'll spend like $800. It was kind of like shocking when we came to Toronto to know what the prices of headshots were here compared to like our market. Which is a smaller market, but people are willing to pay like $800, like $1,000 for a headshot session, but then they're not willing to do the same for like 2 scenes for a demo, which like casting directors are going to want to see, well, how, if you don't have a lot of credits, like they want to see who you are. Like, am I going to give you the audition or not? They want to see what you can bring to the table. And like headshots are great. You need headshots. But if you have a demo, that's like just like a level up that kind of differentiates you from like all the headshots that don't have a demo. But it's just like a weird thing where people don't, I guess, talk about doing demos as much as they do about the importance of headshots. But demos, like having a demo has definitely,
it's more important.
Helped.
I would say it's more important because it actually, it's a headshot. Yeah, it can show like what you can play and what your typecast is and what you look like. But a demo reel shows your abilities, like literally shows like, are you good at acting?
Like who you are as an actor. Like
and so that's what gets you in the room, especially if
okay,
you're
fine, I'll use your services. I know I need to update my reel.
I'm not saying
hey.
I'm not trying to sell my services. I'm just saying that it's something that actors really don't think about as much as headshots, and I would say it's probably more important than headshots. Just because if you're trying to get seen by casting directors that never seen you, the only way your agent can really push you is by pushing your demo reel.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, by being like, hey, look, this is a really talented actor and look what they can do.
Like give them a
chance. Yeah.
They'll impress you.
The thing that was great about your demo reels that you had was it wasn't just you. And I've been hearing a lot of feedback from either casting directors or coaches. And when it's really just, it looks like a scene that was shot in, and again, there's nothing wrong if you're applying to an agency and you want to get an agent to do a scene from a class, but when you're just showing classwork or one angle and it clearly isn't an actual scene from something, I've heard it takes away. And this is just what I've heard. So I don't know. I personally like seeing what your clips are from, and I go, ooh, and I saw some really cool big names in Sean's. I'm like, oh my God, is that Sean Ashmore? Okay. Was it Sean? Is that his name? Sean Ashmore? Did I get it wrong? Oh, Sean Ashmore. Okay. I got the Ash. Okay.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Okay. But I did a double take and I go, oh, hello. So then it kind of made me think, ooh, where is this from? Oh, that's cool. So it was interesting to see, because I know there's a bunch of services out there that do the whole just the actor, focus on the actor. But then I thought it also was cool to see the other people in the scene and how you're interacting and how you're actively listening to them. So that was cool.
Well, I think that's what you're talking about is the kind of self-tape style, but like highly produced self-tape style demo reel, right? Which is what you said before, which is great to try and get an agent, because an agent, if you have no experience, they know you don't have experience, and they're like, okay, I just want to see if you can act, or
like how are you going to present yourself in audition?
Exactly. Yeah. But if you're trying to like be pushed out to casting directors and directors and producers, a more edited scene that looks like a short film and looks like you're in something, like looks like you're in a TV show or looks like you're in a movie, it just sells yourself more. It's like just higher production, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's a real like short film or not. They have no idea unless they really go digging into it. But
short film could have went to some like huge festivals. They don't know.
Yeah.
That is true. Some of these short films go on and win awards, and you go, whew, how? Yeah. No, I mean, some are good.
I mean, there's also, just from experience with like submitting to festivals, there's so many festivals out there. And there's like a lot of them that just like take your money. And,
I know.
And then people promote it and they're like, oh my God, we're going to this festival, but like, where's this festival? Who's gonna be there? It's just
still exciting though, I think, when you're like, when you put your heart and soul into a project, and like whatever festival it is, who cares? It's not South by Southwest. Like I don't want to name any festivals, but like I think that's still, it just like proves it's some sort of validation for all the hard work you just put into it,
Yeah, but at that point I'd rather just put it online.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like I'm not saying it invalidates your work, but I feel like if you're gonna go to certain festivals that are not gonna promote your work, I feel like putting them online would promote it more. Like I don't know.
Make it go viral.
That's it. Because if you're not gonna go to the big festivals that really kind of like if you go to a big festival with a short film, there's a good chance that you could get funding for the feature film of that version of the film, right? So
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I did wonder that, and I really appreciate you bringing that up, because there are so many festivals where it's okay, you pay X amount of dollars, they'll put you in the festival, and then they get money by other people paying money to see that film. But what does the prize really mean? And is it just the people that vote the most? So cool, if more of your friends buy the ticket, then you win. What is the prestige? Do people care about this festival? And it's hard to know. There's so many festivals. And, you know, hey, I like to win things, so I get that. But it is interesting to kind of question the validity of certain festivals. So I think this is a very helpful thing to bring up.
Yeah, and we're by no means experts in like the festival world and like what's valid and what's not. But
you're confident, it's fine. Okay.
I've submitted to a lot of, especially like when I did my first short film a while ago, 5 years ago,
5 or 6 years ago, yeah.
And I spent like a lot of money submitting to so many festivals. And I think you need to do that to realize like, oh, I shouldn't do that. But I think it's just part of it.
So is that why all your YouTube content is free? You just, I don't know, because you have really good YouTube content, Sean. I was watching it.
Yeah, but I don't know if anyone would pay for my YouTube content.
I mean, that's interesting. I mean, I don't know. You have some, one of my friends reached out to me when I promoted this chat. She goes, is that the YouTube guy? I'm like, it is the YouTube guy. So
the YouTube guy.
You are the YouTube guy. Well, you promote yourself very well. I'm always like, and then I think I messaged you once and you're like liking your own stuff. And you're like, well, yeah, if I don't like it, who else is going to like it? I'm like, Sean, that's a very good point. I still haven't liked my own stuff because I don't have that courage. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe.
Start the algorithm.
Okay.
Jumpstart the algorithm, right?
Classic algorithms. I don't know. I just post it and see what happens. Magic. But I was watching one of yours and it made me laugh so much, Sean, because it was that audition story where your tongue was blue and you ended up booking a role. Yeah. And I love that story so much. Can I ask you to share it with the group? I say the group, which is just the three of us, but other people listening and watching.
All right, group of six. Let me go over this conversation. No, but in short, basically, I went in for an audition and I can't eat before auditions. I have this, I guess maybe it's nerves or whatever it is. I just can't eat. And so when I do have an audition in the afternoon, it becomes way more difficult to do that audition because you haven't eaten all day, right? And so with this specific audition, I didn't eat. And so by the time I got there, I'm like, okay, I need to put something in my body. So I went to the store, got a Gatorade, started, chugging it back. And then I go into the bathroom like I do before every audition to like check your hair, check your teeth. And I check my teeth and my tongue is like just completely blue. And I was panicking. I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? I can't go into the audition like this. And then the audition, I had to sing too. So when you're singing, like your tongue, your mouth's open. It's going to show. And so I ran to like the closest store, found like a toothbrush, and I was just like scrubbing in the bathroom as hard as I could and like wiping it with paper towel. And it was like still kind of there, but I mean, in the end it works. I don't know. Maybe it took my mind off like the audition and just focused on my tongue. And
that's the thing. That's what I thought was interesting from that. The fact that you were so focused on the tongue. It's like, yeah, I know the rest of it. Just hope maybe I'll sing with my tongue here, and that's how I'll sing, and that's all. Whatever. That's a weird way to sing. Don't sing like that. But whatever it was, and then you book the role because you're not focusing on anything else but that. So I don't know. I'm like, maybe Sean's onto something. I'll just down some Gatorade before self-tape. See what happens. Just be obsessed with my blue tongue. Julia, you should try it. Maybe, two different colors. She'll be the couple with the tongues. And
when we get the opportunity. I've never been in the room in Toronto, which has been so weird. I've only been in the room for commercial auditions, but I got here like right before the pandemic hit. So all my auditions in Toronto have been self-tapes. And I'm like, next time I go in the room, I'm just going to do the Gatorade trick. And that'll definitely help me book. Ups your booking rate, 100%.
Yeah, it's definitely different going into the room than self-tapes, right? There's like a different type of stress when you go into a room or when you're self-taping. And it's just like the stress of like memorizing your lines or like not forgetting your lines. Blanking. And that's what's kind of good about self-tapes is you don't really need to, like you need to learn your lines, but you don't need to focus on that.
You can be more free with that because you're like, I can do 10 takes if I want to.
Yeah.
If my lines aren't like super solid, whereas in the room, I hear in Toronto, it's like most of the time you only get like
one or two takes, maybe. It depends on the casting director.
Yeah, I'm terrified of that.
Because Julia, because I was here before Julia. I moved here before, and I hadn't.
You left her?
Well, she was.
No, I was in Venice.
She was in Italy.
I was working in Italy, and he.
That's an it. Okay.
I left him, and then he was like, okay, I'm going to move to Toronto.
Well, yeah, but I also had, at that point, because we were both living in Montreal, and we had agents in Montreal, but I also had an agent in Toronto, too. So I was going whenever I had an audition, I would go to Toronto. So I traveled
far. Ooh.
Yeah, so I traveled 6 hours and then 6 hours back. Like I would go, maybe stay with a friend and come back. And I did that for every audition for
a while.
2 years, maybe. Yeah, it was long. And then I was like, I can't do that anymore.
I don't know. Do you get points or something for all the frequent traveling? Is there a benefit of traveling?
I was taking the megabus, so it's like $10, $15, or whatever, $30 for the megabus, depending on when you get it. But yeah, it was so much cheaper to live in Montreal and to do that.
Oh, interesting. What do you mean? The condo market is super reasonable in Toronto.
Oh yeah, super reasonable in Toronto. It's crazy right now.
And we always had roommates too as a couple in Montreal. So if you think about that, we were paying like $300 each to rent a place, you know? It just like double the price, triple the price here, you know? So it's crazy.
Now that Julia's gone, let's talk about her. What do we really think of her acting now?
I like haven't eaten all morning, and I was like, ooh, I'm feeling that, just drinking all this coffee. So.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, alive eating. This is thrilling. Please describe what you're eating.
Time?
Influence accordingly. It is the first time. You never forget your first. This is very monumental for me. Also the first time a couple has shared a screen. It's adorable.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sometimes they do this.
Did we do this wrong?
No, I love it. It's better for the audio, and I think the internet won't have to divide amongst you two. So I think it makes more sense. And that way you guys can be close to each other. It's cute. Okay. Like, I don't want to be near her. This is weird. Are we done yet? Okay.
Then as soon as this shuts off, we go work on opposite sides of the apartment.
Yeah.
We're done here. I'm going back to Montreal. Okay. $10 bus. So when you were talking about the feature that you guys would want to make, do you have ideas for what you want to do with that?
We have a script. We have a script already structured out.
Well, we started writing it. We started writing it like right when COVID hit, and like the 3 months where it's like nobody was really doing anything, nothing was really open. Mm-hmm. We weren't really working much, and we started writing it. And then ever since
got busy.
July of last year, things have just gotten crazy busy, and we haven't really we have it. I have all our cue. We like made little cards with like each scene and everything, all like kind of fleshed out. But we need to like sit down and write it. Yeah,
we just have to like
finish writing.
We have to just be more
disciplined
with it.
Yeah, that's why we're having this discussion. I'm not impressed. Can you please write it? Okay.
Well, the good thing is we did a lot of the hard work, where I would say is like trying to structure the whole film.
Yeah, like what's gonna happen.
Like what's gonna happen, and so I think we're like 20 pages in that we actually wrote.
Yeah.
So. But
it's just closing it. When will that happen? Maybe in 3 years. It's just it's so hard because then we both work from home and. Like aside from acting, we both like do freelance stuff, and like that started picking up like crazy because now companies are just like looking for freelancers because employees are like quitting and burning out and whatever's happening with industries. And it's like, how do you say no to something that's going to pay you? So we're trying to find like that balance of like saying yes to things that are going to pay you, but then also we need time for like our creative stuff so that we can finish things.
That's why it's so hard to create your own work and make your own work, because at least for us is there's all our freelance work that makes our money and our makes our side hustle money and pays a lot of our bills and that makes the acting money that comes in just like pure savings. Right. And so I think that's why we hustle so hard with all our side hustles. So it has that baseline that it pays for our life basically. Mm-hmm. And then any time we get big acting gigs, it's like just extra money, right?
But
responsible adults.
Gone too far though. Like I think now
I
feel like I'm at a point where I've gone too far into the hustle, and I'm like, okay, I need to reel back because like this is not. I'm like, am I an actor anymore? Am I not an actor?
No,
I don't know.
Yeah, you always are, but it's just there's a fine line of working too much on your side hustles when they're making you money, and then they kind of take away from
your creativity
and your energy, right? It's like, where do you put your energy? Like, where are you putting? You only have so much. So where are you putting that? And if you let your side hustles kind of take over everything, you lose the creative side of yourself a little bit.
Absolutely.
Right? And then on top of that, I do YouTube, which is YouTube. When I didn't realize YouTube would be this much work.
There's so much editing. I'm looking at this. I'm like, okay, I've done a YouTube video, Sean. Okay, this first like minute had way more editing than my entire YouTube stuff. I'm like, there's so much happening. There's little Sean. There's someone punching you in the face. There's sound effects. There was like a little you. It was really cute.
I see all the analytics, right? And I see like you need to capture people's attention in the first 30 seconds. So like the first 30 seconds, I need to like really have heavy editing, especially because it's just me sitting on the couch talking about acting. Every week it's like, what am I going to talk about this week? And so I need to like capture people's attention and try to make it as like, you know, flow well, not like don't have fat on it, right? But also be interesting and fun.
But
I'm not going to fat shame your video, but sure. Okay.
I think it takes you like 20 minutes to film. Like you film really quickly. So you film in like 20 minutes and then like 20 hours to edit. Okay, like 15 hours. 10 hours to edit.
Like 7 hours to edit.
Come on, Julia.
Yeah, come on.
He tells you it's 20 hours. He wants it a long time.
No, but like I would say it was probably like 20 minutes to shoot, 30 minutes to shoot, and like 7 to 8 hours to actually edit. But the issue is that's not the only thing I'm doing, right? I have all my freelance work, and I do a lot of freelance work for marketing companies, and I edit commercials and I edit social ads, and so that can really take a lot of time. And then on top of that, there's preparing for auditions and learning lines, and on top of that, there's taking acting classes. And so it's just when you add on those extra like 8 hours, it's a lot some weeks.
Yeah.
Like it's like, how am I going to do this? I always release on Sunday. And so sometimes I'll shoot on Friday, sometimes on Saturday. And I'm like, ooh, I'm going to do a whole day of editing and shooting. I'm like, I don't like this. Because if I can shoot on Tuesday, I can like slowly edit the video and then release it on Friday, right? But
I went to your website and I was overwhelmed for you. I'm like, wait, he edits the commercials and he does YouTube and he's doing that. I'm like, how are you doing this? I am overwhelmed. No, thank you.
Well, editing demo reels, like shooting demo reels, yes, that takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
When I'm shooting demo reels, that's like you're preparing and producing a short film.
Yeah.
When I'm editing demo reels, like I've gotten really fast at like, because what I offer, the service I offer is like I find all your footage.
Oh yeah, right? I saw that.
And so I think that's the big reason a lot of people come to me is because they have so much issue finding their footage and like high definition footage, right?
Right.
And so I've gotten really good at finding that, and so that doesn't take too much time with me, you know. It's a few hours of work. But yeah. And like I'm not always shooting demo reels. It is pretty expensive, as you saw. So not everyone wants to do that. And that's fine with me because that's not what I don't live off that money, right? So
right. Wait, Julia, what is your side hustle again? Why don't I remember this?
I do like a lot of random stuff. I like do like, I guess, admin work virtually. I like proofread. I work a lot with companies in Montreal. I proofread text in English written by like French writers. I can translate from French to English. Right now I'm working on like a huge website project where I'm building web pages and helping with the strategy of like all the digital world of this company. All random. I'm like, I don't know what to call myself.
You do a lot.
I project coordinate. It's just like a lot of random stuff that like pops up here and there from different clients.
Yeah.
But now I guess because this website project is pretty huge, so it's been kind of like since March every I've been doing besides like acting and everything. But like Sean said, then you add on the acting on top of that and like how many hours it takes to learn sides and, you know, everything on top of that. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, my week was 60 hours. How did this happen? Yeah. So I'm trying to scale back or just like, I don't know, maybe I'm going to be like Wednesday is the day for me that I don't work for any clients. And that's going to be my creative day. I'm trying to figure it out. I think I've gone too far with the hustle.
It's hard. It's hard to find that balance with anything.
Yeah.
It's also like, yeah, and also I think about this too. It's like I think we both have that in us that we're just very like we hustle. It's like we really grind it out. And when you're around that, what do they say is like the 5 people you're around is like
your inner circle kind of influence you accordingly.
Exactly. And so we're always around each other. And and so I think it just like enforces that probably more, especially because we both work from home. We're both freelancers.
Right.
We are with each other like
All the time.
24/7.
Yeah.
Like that's how we know we love each other. Because we made it through a pandemic where we're with each other 24/7 for like a year and a half, almost 2 years. Yeah.
But I also don't think I'm the type of person, like I can't just like I can't just wait around for the next acting job. That like I would have so much anxiety. And when I first got to Toronto, that's what I was doing. I wasn't really working that much. I had a few things here and there, but like I didn't have a job here. So I was just kind of like waiting to get an agent, waiting to get auditions. And it drove me crazy. I can't do that. So I like, well, I don't know what the balance is, but I like, having stuff to work on so that when there's no acting happening, I'm like, oh no, but I'm working. Like I have my stuff. I have a plan for the week. I'm not just like waiting around being like, why are they not calling me? Yeah.
It's tough as freelancers though. And we talk about that a lot too. We're so lucky that as actors, we get to work from home and we get to have our flexibility to work when we want to work. Sure, we have deadlines, but like if we have an audition, we can like just maybe put our work aside for a day, focus on the audition, learn the lines, and then do the audition, right?
Yeah.
So there's that flexibility, but at the same time, because you never know when you're going to work, it's so hard to say no to work. It's so hard to say no to clients. So you might take on too much at certain points because of that, right? All the time. But it's like I'd rather this than not have that flexibility,
and
right?
Hey, I can do work in my bed, like it's if I wanted to. So it's not it's hard to complain.
No, we're super fortunate as actors to have that. It's probably one of the best things you can have, right?
For sure. Yeah. The fact, do you both speak French?
Yeah, we both speak French. Julia's way better than me. I'm more English.
We're not French. So we're from Montreal, but we're not.
Right.
I don't know the term that's used outside of Montreal. Francophone and Anglophone. I'm not sure.
No.
I think it's just a Montreal thing. But so we're not French. We're not. French is not our first language. We're Anglophone. So we're a little.
Yeah,
Anglo.
but do you put French on the resume? Kind of French? Is that how French you are?
Oh, yeah. Like I'm part of the French Union.
Cool.
So
did not know there was a French union. What is that mean?
Yeah, so I'm double carded in Quebec. Well, it's also in Ontario.
Even here, so there's a lot of like double carded commercials where you have to be ACTRA, which is the Canada,
and DA, which is the French. Actually, I just booked my first double carded commercial, so I'm
congratulations! Whoa!
But that
on Sunday.
So because Julia is double carded in Toronto, it's such an advantage because there's just not a lot of double carded actors, and there's so many commercials that need that.
Yeah.
And such an advantage for her.
It's a very small pool from what I hear. Double carded actors in Ontario. Yeah. And I guess they don't want to necessarily have to bring people in from Montreal to fill that quota. So
probably tax, something with like paying your income tax in Ontario or whatever it is, right?
Definitely.
But yeah, I understand French completely. I can speak it, but I definitely don't use it enough.
We should just do this in French. I wouldn't understand you, but maybe work on your French that way. Okay.
Well, that's it. In Toronto, I'm actually super bilingual. Like if people hear me talk in Toronto, they're like, "Oh, you're so bilingual." I go to Montreal, they're like, "Oh, you're so English."
I find that so interesting.
It is. It's an interesting dynamic. I used to work at reception in Montreal, and I used to always get American tourists that were like, "Are you American? Like your accent?" And I would have to explain like the whole like history of like Quebec and like the English and the French. And they still didn't get it, but they're like, "But you're from somewhere else, right?" I'm like, "No, like I'm born in Montreal." Like they don't understand that there's like English schools and like there's an English speaking population and like all that.
It should come with one of those like cue cards. Here's all the information. I have to tell so many people I'm done. Like here you go.
Like I'm not American. Here's my card. Leads to a website about the history.
Yes, please. I can't do this anymore. Or only speak in French and then see what happens.
Yeah, but definitely all my side jobs right now, well, most of them, I go into meetings in French. I talk in French with like my coworkers. Like I work in French mostly for that.
C'est bon.
Ouais, c'est...
Well, that's also how I got into some, because of the freelance editing with marketing companies and production companies here. That was the reason I got in with some of them, because they were looking for someone who could understand French.
like be able to
cool.
edit
To be like
something in
edit
French.
something in French, and so that really opened the door for me here. Actually.
Yeah.
Right. I think there is a huge benefit, and that's why I'm always so impressed when people speak French. I go, oh, you guys, Union and French, you're going to be booking. Enjoy.
But it's so strange because in Montreal, I would never, unless there, it's tough. Quebec has its own like cultural infrastructure when it comes to like the arts and stuff like that. There's a Hollywood system in Quebec. It's really interesting because they're not going to watch French from France stuff. I mean, they might, but they're watching like Quebecois content, and there's a lot of Quebecois content, and it's actually really good. Like if you watch like Quebec movies, they're really good. But they're not so open to like if you don't fit like their idea of like what the accent. I don't want to get so much hate for this, but their idea of like what let's say the Quebecois accent is. And I don't think I have a super Anglo accent when I speak French, but maybe I don't have a perfect Quebecois accent. And so it would be really difficult for me to book in French in Quebec. I won't even get seen. Unless they're looking for someone who's Anglo or something like that. But in Toronto, I find in Ontario, there's a lot of different French accents, like all over the board. I don't think there's just one. I think they're more used to also hearing accents maybe spoken like an English person speaking in French, so having an English accent when they speak French, and they're more open to that. So it's like when I came here, it was like a different world. They're like, oh my God, you're UVA, whereas in like Montreal, like I would never necessarily
never be seen.
I would never use my UVA status.
No.
It just wouldn't happen. I wouldn't book over there unless they were looking for something really specific.
Yeah.
It's complicated to be an English actor in Montreal.
Yeah.
Say that.
Yeah.
Clearly, you had to move.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you have to. There's like a ceiling, right?
Yes.
So yeah.
How are you guys liking Toronto?
We love Toronto. We really love Toronto. Like we see Toronto as like more of, even though our whole family lives in Montreal, like both of our families, like Toronto feels like home to us.
I like that.
So,
I mean, there's a lot of friendly people here, I find. Especially I find in the acting community, everyone's very open and helpful. So I enjoy that.
Oh, we love that. Yeah.
Everyone's so nice in Ontario.
Yeah.
Whenever I call customer service places, they're always like super like peppy and nice. And I'm like, whoa, this is.
And the people you meet, and also just like the opportunity here is just way more than Montreal. It's just what it is, right? There's the opportunity to book bigger things here.
Yeah.
Not even just in acting, but with my video editing as well.
Oh, interesting. Well,
There's just more money. There's more money in Toronto,
It's
right?
a bigger city. There's
Yeah.
more companies here. There's more opportunity. There's more. It's like the financial center of Canada. There's just like more, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
For everything. Yeah.
Mhm. It was so interesting, Sean. I saw your clip from the Hardy Boys, and I'm like, this was filmed at U of T, wasn't it? And that and I love what they do around U of T when they're filming in Toronto. They just take everything. I know there was a scene in Working Moms. I'm like, this is not a school. Where are you filming that? They just make everything seem to be better than what it is. And I just thought it made me smile because I live close to there, and I'm like, oh, that's so fun. Anyways, that's a sidebar.
They just take the good parts of UET, I guess, and
they
and
do. Yeah, they show the little moss, and you go, oh, this person must be somewhere prestigious. No, it's kind of just like around some grass, and they just film the other angle. But sure, okay. I don't know. That's cool. What is your favorite location where you shot? Open to both of you.
Favorite location?
Yeah, I've never asked that question before. I'm just curious.
When I shot Hudson Rex.
Oh, that looked cool.
Hudson Rex, where you go to Newfoundland, right?
Mm-hmm.
Newfoundland?
I believe it's Newfoundland.
Yeah, St. John's. Yeah, St. John's, Newfoundland.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really cool because, they fly you out and they put you up. And when I was there was a music festival. It's like the music festival that goes on there.
Yeah.
And so City in Color was playing, and I don't know if you know that band. But there was just like,
see, I wasn't acting. No, I had no idea. There was just a blank.
Yeah,
stare
there's
on my face.
there's some bands that I listened to that were playing. Like, this is crazy. I'm so lucky that I get to kind of go on this music festival where they kind of close a street with all the main bars, and you can like go into bars, just grab beer, grab drinks, and just go into the street. And then they have the kind of stage at the end of the street.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was very cool.
I think for me, last summer we filmed an MOW in Montreal, And the location was, it was supposed to be like a bed and breakfast in the movie. And the location was just like this like multi-million-dollar house on like the edge of water somewhere in like outside of Montreal. And it was freaking gorgeous. Like literally it had its own peninsula on the water that you would stand there and like all around you.
Super windy though.
It was super windy. Like, super windy. Every time you were outside, it was like hair was like flying everywhere. But we got like, even like our characters got married in the movie, and like they set up, we got married in the backyard, and they set up like all string lights, and it was super gorgeous at night. And every night there would be like a crazy sunset on the water. So I think that was like my favorite. Like it was just so beautiful to like witness this. I think the house was for sale too, and it was going for like $2.5 million, but it was obviously a really nice location. And then there was like people sometimes ski-doing in the background of shots, and we have to kind of wait until they pass by. But then they're like trying to get closer because they're like, oh my God, are there celebrities there? You know,
yeah,
be something shooting.
Oh my God. I also loved that it was an outdoor wedding kind of vibe. I love watching what a wedding is versus myself having a wedding. And I go, that is not a wedding. Reality versus Hallmark MOWs. You go, people are too happy. There has to be some drama. Someone has to be crying. Some relative has to be offended. Where is the drama? That being said, I love MOWs. So, I mean.
Yeah, well, that one, we were both on that one, actually. That was one of the ones that we got cast together and during the pandemic. And in that film, we got married, which was so funny because I just proposed.
Yeah, we're getting
a few months before.
Married.
Yeah, but I just
you guys were
proposed
already married in a movie. It's fine. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's kind of funny getting married before you get married.
I mean, well, I think we saved a lot of money. I'm just saying, if that was your actual wedding and it was televised or wherever they're broadcasting it.
You want it to be televised? You want our wedding to be televised on MOW channel?
Yes, I would like it to be. Hey guys, fun fact, they actually had their wedding. This was a real wedding. And you would have saved so much money. You got craft services for you. Maybe not your choice, but it was there. So just suggestions, throwing it out there.
We'll tell our kids like that was our wedding. We'll just take the footage. It's like a montage. I haven't even seen it, but it's a montage with like music. We'll be like, that was our wedding day, and they'll never know the difference.
Of course not. But they'll be happy that you didn't spend more money than you had to. Okay.
We got paid to get married.
There you go.
Whoa, that's impressive. The first couple I've met that got paid to get married. Whew. You have to make an honest woman out of her. That's what happened. It was getting uncomfortable. So one of the relatives reached out to Cassie and said, look, they need to book something. They need to get married. I don't know. I just say stuff. I don't know if that's true.
That they get pushed and they know that we want them to. Yeah. But it's funny because my family, like they're excited that we're engaged and they want us to get married. And after that movie came out or when we were shooting it, they were like, well, when are you going to get married? Like, you got married on, like, set. You need to get married now. And I'm like, what's the rush? There's a pandemic going on. They're, like, very eager for us to get married. And I'm like, well, we just did it on a movie set. Like,
yeah, whatever. It's done.
Like, we're already married.
Yeah, we've been together for 10 years.
Yeah.
We're already married.
Yeah.
It's like, nothing's going to change but a piece of paper.
Yeah.
At that point.
But what a piece of paper. You frame it, you put it on the wall. It's beautiful. Okay.
Do you put it on the wall? Where do you put that piece of paper?
Oh, well, okay. So I'm Jewish, so I have a ketubah. I got married religiously, and it should be on the wall. It will be at some point. We've been meaning to put it on the wall. Yeah, you just got to put it somewhere safe. I don't know. I agree with you with the piece of paper. So
yeah, especially when you've been with someone for so long, it's like I understand. Maybe if you just
You're right. Actually, I'm going to get a divorce and then get remarried to him again just to keep it interesting. I'll let him know. He's watching this now. He'll be like, Robyn, stop talking. There's a delay, so I'll see his comment accordingly. Okay.
You got to keep it interesting.
Keep it fresh. Keep it fresh. That's how we do it. Okay.
Get divorced, get married, get divorced, get married every 3 years. No.
Yeah. It'll be very confusing for the anniversary. I don't know what number we're at. How many divorces? Okay. I don't know. These are terrible ideas today.
I'm enjoying.
That's fair. I wanted to ask you, how did you guys meet Sophie? Because that's how I met you, through Sophie and Rooney's Raw Studio, or what do you call? Is it Raw Actors Workshop?
Yeah, Raw
Actors
Studio.
Right?
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds good. That
Yeah.
works.
So for anyone who doesn't know, that's like acting class in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or acting coach, I guess.
Yeah, really great ones.
Yeah, and so it's a very, I guess, long story, but so when I first got an agent in Toronto when I was living in Montreal, so let's say, I don't even know year. And now I'm throwing out years. I forget how many years ago. Let's say 4 or 5 years ago. I was like meeting people because I was making films and I was meeting people. Like when I would come, maybe I would meet up with someone who's a filmmaker. I was just trying to make connections in Toronto when I was here. And one person was telling me that he had this showcase that he was a part of with this class he was doing. So he's like, yeah, you should come. So I went. And I was so impressed by the actors in that class. I was like wowed away because I just felt like they were all really good, very connected, very real acting going on. And I knew that once I moved to Toronto, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a class with this studio. And so I guess 3 years later, I came and I took a class, and then I've just been taking classes, I guess, ever since.
And then when I moved here, I was auditing like a bunch of different classes, and then he had like the master class open class, and I went to go see it in person. And I remember too, like I remember being so blown away by that class, and just like watching the work, and I was like, I want to be in this class. And then I started taking classes with Sophie. So I've done, I think I only did one in person with her, and then I've done 2 online, and we're going back in person. And
I have never met her in person. I don't know.
Yeah, and Zoom classes are like, it's nothing against Zoom classes, but I feel like it's not the same.
I feel like every so often I'm like, oh, I haven't done something in a long time. I want to take a class, and then if you do it too often, sometimes I'm like, it's too much Zoom. I can't do. I need to just like take a break because it's just too much. You're working on a computer all day, and then you're like going on Zoom to like work on a class all day, and you kind of miss the connection with people.
Yeah, it's like when you're acting with someone through Zoom, it's just not the same, right?
No, but I would say it is really good in terms of like, well, I know it's a weird medium, but it's like kind of like a self-tape. It's like a camera frame, right? You can like learn kind of how to use the angles of the camera, or just like how to use the camera. You know what I mean? Through Zoom. Like, I think there are some aspects of it that like,
for sure
are interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I guess that's not what I want out of it.
You miss the class connection though, because when I was going to class, you'd be like after class, you'd be like, hey, you guys want to go like grab a coffee because you want to.
It's like 11 p.m. What, I want a coffee at 11 p.m. It's terrible. Gotta go to sleep.
These were day classes, but yes, now they're going to be night classes.
Yeah,
or grab a drink if that's your thing or whatever. And it was just so much easier to meet people. I felt like I was like making friends. And then when you're like doing an online class, like you kind of meet people, but it's harder. Like we met up a few, I think last week, some people from the class we were in, we went to High Park together, and I was like, this is amazing to see people in person because you just saw them in their little squares and you're all kind of individual. But it was nice to be like around actors again.
It's, as you're saying that, I realize I have not checked the WhatsApp group chat in a very long time, so that makes sense. There's a lot of missed messages. Group messages and me, I don't know. If there's more than 2-3 people, I'm not reading them.
Especially when it's on WhatsApp. I'm terrible. Sometimes I mute my WhatsApp and then I go back and I'm like, I didn't answer any of these messages. Too much, though.
But like, you guys have that WhatsApp chat group thing with your class. I've never had that.
But I think I think it's also though because we were on a Zoom class during. Like,
you want to connect,
you want to be like, hey, you don't have that social aspect in class that you usually get, you know, between scenes or whatever before after class. So it was just kind of a way to like I think connect outside as well with people. Sometimes because we're working like also individually right now. Even though like I have you have me, but sometimes it's nice to like just be around actors. Like it was just nice to just like talk to people who are like your people and like who understand you. And yeah, you can do that online. People are doing like readings and stuff online, and it's great. But it's just like there's like a human connection in person that just like can't be replaced. We're slowly getting back.
It's gonna be interesting what that class is gonna be like, right? Because we're still kind of in a pandemic, you know. So I don't know. It'll be interesting.
I'm excited. Like. I can't wait. I haven't done a class in person in a year, I guess. So it's gonna be a year. Going back to just being in person and doing stuff live again, which will be fun.
Yeah, I mean the one good thing about Zoom is I took an LA class.
Oh, cool! Yeah.
Everything is Zoom, right? So I was like, let me try this is like an opportunity that I won't get again.
You can take classes anywhere right now.
Yeah. So
if they're offering.
That's true. I think I'm not going to be ready for how tall or short people are, you know, because I have envisioned everyone's heights, and then you go and you go, hello.
How tall do you think I am?
Oh, please don't make me do this. It's like guessing your age. I'm not doing this. I'll look at your IMDb later, and I'll be like, oh God, I was so off. Come on, Robyn. I'm not looking. That's the only thing I didn't look at in your IMDb, and I'm disappointed in myself. I try and gather my information accordingly, and I did not look at your height, so I don't know.
How dare you not know our heights?
And
Wait, no. Is there a mismatch between you two, or are you guys equal height?
What do you mean by mismatch?
Like, is Sean shorter? Is Julia shorter?
Sean's a bit taller.
I'm taller.
Okay. Okay, not.
I'm way taller.
You're like a little bit taller.
I know. There's something about when the height dynamic is really off in couples that I just find it very comedic. I don't know. I just think it's very entertaining.
It's the kissing, right? It's the like.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it comes down to, and it's just. And then the physio and me is going. That's a lot of neck problems for the taller person, and a lot of calf problems for the. Yeah. Anyways, so then I get.
Yeah.
So do you have a kind of what's the word? A practice in Toronto, or you do more freelance stuff?
Oh, I was doing a lot of home care before the pandemic, and still figuring out how to pivot accordingly. Just because the pandemic is what it is. So I see a couple patients, but it depends on the case, and yeah.
Did you work at a place though? Were you?
I was working at a clinic, but then I just decided to do again like what you were saying regarding freelancing in a sense. So home care was my version of freelancing because I would hate to cancel on like a patient. I just hated that so much, especially if I knew they needed me. So I'm very open with my home care patients and tell them the situation and like try and figure out. But if you get that last second audition, I'm like, hey, sorry, can we push it back sometimes, push it forward? So it works out, but it's just, I always feel bad having to change someone's schedule accordingly because
you're like, I know you can't walk right now, but can you just push it?
I think you're transparent with them about it, like up front. You're like, you need to know that this is.
Yeah.
And they can accept her.
It's hard, yeah.
But that's super smart of you because it's just, if you really want to be an actor, you kind of, it's a life. It's a lifestyle. It's a life choice. And you kind of have to figure out everything around it, right?
You have to put it first. And like, and I tried the opposite.
I did too.
Toronto was like, it was like on the side, my side hustle. And like, I had like a full-time job and everything. And it doesn't work. It does not work. It's not work. As much as like you're like, yes, this is working. It's like, it's not working at all. And it was only once I quit that job, which I was so tried to do and moved to Toronto, that I was like, oh, wow. Now I'm aligning everything around that, and that now it's working. It's funny how that happens.
Yeah, you definitely have to be your life. It's a lifestyle, and people that are just starting acting might not realize what it is. They might, it's just this fun thing I want to do. I want to try acting. No, it's like, this is a life commitment. This is something that you need to align your life with. That this is something you really want to do, and you're.
And that you're okay doing it, even when it's not fun. It's sometimes.
Yeah.
I think that's the important thing.
And it takes long. It doesn't happen like right away for everyone. Some people it does. There are the lucky few where it just kind of, the ball rolls and they just keep booking these big things right away. But for a lot of people, they say like
maybe you
8 to 10 years.
Maybe you have to your casting too. Like maybe when you're like in your 40s and you're gonna be like the hot commodity, like in your 50s, like you don't know. So the long game, right?
Yeah, I've decided that 60 is gonna be when I really make it. Like I'm gonna be that fun 60-year-old on set, but I'll be cast for the women that are in their 70s, right? Because that's how they cast super young. But I'll be that girl. Like I'll go full gray.
From 60 to like 90, like how old is Betty White? Like she's in her 90s. Like you could have a beautiful career that like blossoms, and your competition's not gonna like. There's gonna be competition, but it's not gonna be as much as like now when you're in your like 20s, 30s.
Well, the older
so many people.
The older you get, the less people are doing it, right? The less people are like, hey, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm 40 or I'm 45, like I'm done. And like the people that keep doing it are the people that are like, they can't do anything else.
But it's also harder though, because I would imagine that once you get into your 60s, the people that are like still doing it are like really like they've probably been doing it for 30 years, right?
You know what, Julia, don't crap on my dream, okay?
Yeah.
But you're going to be one of those people.
Not,
you're going to be like, I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm a like super professional.
I think that's true. I think that's true, but there are instances where that's not true. And just like sometimes you just got to grow into the casting and the way you look, and you know what I mean?
And
you might be in this weird range where you're not, there's so many roles for like under 18, like high school, which is actually looking 25, right? And there's so many roles in that range. And if you're in between like 25 and 40, it's like this weird like space you're in where the roles might not fit you perfectly, right? And so, yeah, just like, what is this? Eh? What is this? What is this industry?
I mean, we question it, but there's so many of us that are still trying to do it, right? And there's something to be said that all of us are willing to keep putting ourselves out there and auditioning, because I think it's just so magical when you create something and work with and collaborate with people and just, I don't know, you're right. I can't imagine doing anything else. So that's, I think, why the majority of people push through.
Yeah.
Like the highs are so high that like that moment when you find out you booked something and then you get to go to set and you like you're an actor. You're always an actor, but like you're on set and you're a working actor. Like those moments are so great that you're like, I don't mind if like the next year I just like work my side hustles and like I'm auditioning. I've also learned, I think now, I think I've changed my mindset about acting a lot since I've moved to Toronto, and I love auditions now. I love self-taping so much.
Are you serious? Go away.
When it goes back in person, I think it might be a different story because I get really nervous. But self-tapes, I'm in my home, I'm comfortable, and I'm like, whoa, I get to like try out this character for whatever, these 2-3 scenes. And I've started viewing it like that. And it changed my whole mindset towards even audition. Like even if you didn't book something and you're not working on something where you're getting paid, you get to act when you work on a self-tape. Like you get to embody another person. You get to like, you get to do it, even if it's just for 30 minutes. And I don't want to say like that's enough, because obviously like I have bigger aspirations than just auditioning. But I'm trying to view it that way, and to every time to be like, I'm so lucky to be able to like have this moment to like try out this character or to put my version on this character. Because in the end, you can only bring yourself to the table.
But I think that's why you have to look at it that way, because if you don't, you're going to become jaded, right? You need to look at it as in a positive manner. You got to be looking at it, wow, this is an opportunity for me to act. It's an opportunity for me to do what I love, and someone else is paying for it. Well, I mean, maybe self-tapes, no, but you know what I mean? When you're going
paying a casting director, I get what you're saying,
Yeah, you know, especially when you're going into the room, someone's paying for that room.
Yeah.
And so this is an opportunity for you to like embody characters and connect with them and just do what you love doing. And so you gotta, if you look at it in a positive manner, just you can feel it. You can feel it. Like I was a reader for a few years at a casting director, and you feel it when people walk into the room and they have this energy and they're confident in themselves and they're bringing themselves to the role. There's such a difference when you see, like, it's night and day when someone does that and doesn't. Right?
Sean, this sounds like a YouTube video. It was great. I enjoyed that video. You made one about, you
I've
did
done
one.
so many videos at this
You've
point.
done a lot of videos. I know. You're the YouTube guy. Okay, no.
The YouTube guy.
The YouTube guy. I was actually scared. So at the beginning of the pandemic, I did 2 YouTube videos, and then I didn't do a YouTube video for 7 months.
Ooh.
Yeah, I only really committed to it in January, end of January, so beginning of February.
Well, it's like this year you were like, I'm going to do a YouTube video every week. And I was like, okay. And he has like, and when you, let's say I think you've missed like 2 weeks, then you made up. You double up in another week. And I'm like, you've done it every week. So you're sticking to your goal.
But a big reason why I quit for 7 months was I became scared that casting directors, if they look at my name, they'll see it on YouTube and they would consider me a YouTuber and not an actor. I was super scared of that. And so then, but then 7 months later, it kind of like, it went off in my head. I'm like, well, that's so stupid to think that way. This is actually, like, this could actually benefit my career more than do the opposite. Especially,
I think it also benefits other actors. I think. I think, you know, because I don't like to. I wouldn't say it's good if I watched it. I'm like, I just wouldn't talk about it. The material you're saying, you're providing, and the knowledge that you're saying, it's very good. and you test stuff out, and you do note that you do get a promo from certain things. So there you go, a little kickback. But I like knowing what material you're using to film stuff. I thought that was super helpful. And everything you're saying, I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. And also you're booking, right? It's not like you're this person that just kind of woke up and said, I'm going to be an actor, so let's make videos. You have the knowledge, so you're sharing the knowledge. And I think that's very valuable.
I think it's really important to like demystify what it means to be a working actor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about this last night, actually. I listened to a few podcasts from LA. One Broke Actress, if anyone wants to listen to it, and Audrey Helps Actors. They're really great. But their whole thing, why they do these podcasts, is because we're sold this dream of like being an actor is like you have to be like, I don't know, Angelina Jolie or Brad Pitt. And like those, I'm like, I don't even consider, not that I don't consider them actors, they're great, lovely actors. But that's like literally like the Jeff Bezos. It's like it's the unicorn of the industry. So why are we all striving? And because there's external pressure from like friends and families of like, when are we going to see you in that? You know,
Oh,
and it's
that's
like,
the
well,
worst.
it's like you can be an actor and people don't realize you can be an actor and you're not Angelina Jolie and you're not the super famous person, because most people who want to be actors aren't trying to be an actor for fame, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like trying to demystify this idea of what an actor is and to just put more information out there into the world that, look, there's all these people that are actors and they're acting and maybe you don't know their name or whatever, but look at how wonderful their journeys are and look at how unique they are and look at how great it is. And I think it's the same thing with your YouTube video. There's not a lot of people out there that are doing that. And we're lucky in this day and age that information is so accessible and you can get it free anywhere, podcasts, YouTube, online. And I think we should be sharing more of that, sharing more tips and sharing how to like ease our anxieties as little actors, because we're such anxious little people. And to just, you know, put it out there that you're doing okay and everything you're doing is fine and you don't have to be anyone else but yourself.
And it's okay to struggle. I think, you know, especially with social media, a lot of actors only show the good and no one talks about the struggles and just everything around it. I think that's why I was so surprised when I went on YouTube and no one was really doing what I'm doing. I was like, how has no one done this before? I was like, wow, this is crazy. But also because I'm lucky that I have such a unique skill set in like editing and shooting, and so
like you do it all yourself.
I do it all myself, and it comes so easy to me.
Yeah.
Where I can see if you didn't have those skill sets, it would be way more difficult.
It'd be kind of overwhelming. I would never be able to do
No,
that.
exactly.
Edit a video?
No.
Tough.
It's hard, and just like the consistency is hard, but that's what keeps me going though. It's just the feedback I got. And the people that keep coming back to my videos and people really like saying that it's helping them, and that's the only thing that really keeps me going, because if I wasn't getting that, it'd be really hard to keep going. You know what I mean?
I feel like
I feel like I'm helping people. I feel like I am giving some sort, like, I'm not saying that I'm this genius or this like master actor. I'm just like, look, this is my personal experience as an actor. This is what I'm going through. This is what I've done, and this is how I work. And I only talk about like my personal journey as an actor. And if you can relate to that, or if that can help you, like what?
And it's the same thing with what you're doing too with window chats, like bringing all kinds of people on to talk about all kinds of things. It's just like, you know, a lot of actors, a lot of creative types, but it just like when people listen to I find when I listen to someone else's story, you just realize how unique everybody is and how unique everybody's journey is. And it's not a 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to be Brad Pitt. And anybody who's watching this who is not an actor, stop asking your actor friends when they're going to be on Netflix and what you've seen. I mean, you ask nicely if you really care, but like the goal is not to be famous. It's
guys, you now can say you've been on window chats, so you're kind of a big deal.
There you go.
and it's a journey, and it's an unpredictable journey. But like you were saying before, when the highs are high, they're so high. There's lows too, and how do you get through the lows? Connect with other actors, go to acting class, listen to others, and know you're not alone.
The lows are the hardest parts, right?
They are, but if you can get through those and keep going.
But back to like the highs of acting, because you're saying like they're highs, but the highest you get in acting is the moment you book a job, and it just goes downhill from there. Because you're like, I booked this job, this is great, but now you got to do all the work and you got to do everything, and then there's stress of like performing on whatever it is, right? And so it kind of slowly goes down until the last day of set, and now you're at like 0 again.
You say, I think the biggest high for me is seeing myself on a screen, knowing that I made the final cut after I booked it. Because I've learned that
So you're on a high for like 2 years?
No. So I do it. I'm very excited and grateful when I book something. And then I just don't think about it. Because I go, Robyn, you've been cut out before. Don't get excited. And then when I see it and I make the cut and I go, oh my God. And I freak out and I feel like a real actor. That's my moment.
It's so true. Because sometimes you do these things and you get cut out of the final product and you're so excited. And then after you're like, oh, never mind.
You're like, I was going to use that for my demo reel.
Not anymore.
Oh my God.
But every actor you talk to, it's happened to everybody. Everybody has gone through that. So then you realize that, like, oh, it's not unique to me. Like, this happens.
And you're always will.
It always will.
Like, it's never going to end. You think it will, but it doesn't. Like, sure, you might book bigger things and have longer periods of working. Let's say if you become a series regular, you're going to be working for like a few months, which is like the dream, right? But after that ends, you're back with everyone else. You're just like, oh, when am I going to work again?
I can't imagine reading the script if you're a series regular and reading and going, oh shit, I died today. Whoops. That kind of thing.
You're like, oh no.
That's unfortunate. All right. Hopefully book something else. Oh my goodness, guys. I can't stop talking to you two, but I've taken over an hour of your time. So I am just so grateful to have the opportunity to chat and learn more about you two. And just thank you so much for sharing your time and your wisdom. And I had a lot of laughs today. I enjoyed it. And everyone, thank you so much for watching. Is there anything you two would like to add? I feel like you've said a lot. I don't want to feel like I'm cutting you short, but I also want to value your time. It's like that in between. Okay.
No worries. Anything to add? I think I'm good.
We're just hanging out, right? I don't know. We're just hanging out and talking.
I know, that's the chats. That's what happens.
And yeah, it's fun actually. Cause like it's been a while since we talk a lot to each other about this. It's nice to like talk to somebody else and like just like have a conversation about this kind of stuff. It's nice.
Yeah, we're just an echo chamber to each other.
Yeah.
I needed to be that neutral third party.
But tell me my ideas are better. No, he is great.
That says I'll do it offline and then just separately message you two that each of you is superior and then deny messaging the other one that's how I roll.
No.
But yes, thank you both so much. Have a lovely weekend and I will share this everywhere. That's how I roll.
Thanks, Robyn.
Thanks so much.
Share it too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.